The Affordable Care Act did a great deal more than set up health insurance exchanges for the uninsured. It also amended the Fair Labor Standards Act by establishing new workplace breastfeeding and lactation standards. The new provisions require employers with fewer than 50 employees to provide a reasonable break time to express breast milk for 1 year after the child's birth. The location cannot be a bathroom, must be shielded from view and free from intrusion from coworkers and the public. Furthermore, the provision explicitly states that an employee who has filed any complaints related to this act cannot be discharged or discriminated against. However, after numerous allegations of discrimination and harassment, Bobbi Bockoras, who has operated heavy machinery for glass bottling factory Saint Gobain Verallia in Alleghany, Pennsylvania for 6 years, ended up expressing breast milk on the filthy floor of an old locker room with, quote, dead bugs for company. According to Bockoras, after initially asking for a place to pump, she was offered the bathroom, which she quickly rejected. Next, her employer sent her to the first aid room, but was allegedly taunted by male coworkers who also banged on the door. The next two failed offerings were an enclosed glass room with no lock and the shower room. Lastly, her employer scooted her off to the ill-fated dirty locker room, which they promised her they would clean up, but of course did not. Considering that Bockoras had to produce enough milk for her infant daughter Lily to eat when she was at work, she was forced to pump in the locker room anyway. What did Saint Gobain Verallia allegedly do after Bockoras complained about the locker room setup? Of course, they swapped out her day shifts for a combination of early mornings and nights, offered no explanation for the switcheroo, and completely ignored her doctor's note that stated regular hours are better for her. To top it off, her employers told her that, quote, regardless of what shift she was on, someone would be harassing her. Because, as we all know, harassment is part and parcel of working at Saint Gobain Verallia, so deal with it, employees. Once Bockoras's breast milk production began to suffer, 10 weeks into this ordeal, she sought legal help from the ACLU, the Women's Law Project, and representation pro bono from Debevoise and Plimpton, LLP. She has since filed a federal civil complaint and an EEOC charge. Not only have certain male Saint Gobain Verallia employees been unable to distinguish themselves from Neanderthals, but the company seems to think that providing a hostile and stressful work environment is a productive way to run their company. And no, Bockoras' case is not the first one to tackle the Affordable Care Act's employer requirements for new mothers, but it just might be the watershed case.